What is going on, guys? It's Evan here from Evan Sports Corner. Now I'm back with another video here on the channel. And today, I'm going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys 2022 NFL Draft from the perspective of a Cowboys fan. I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, and I'm here to give my thoughts on our 2022 NFL Draft. Before we hop into the video, remember to leave a like if you enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you're new so you will not miss more sports content like this. And let's hop right in the video. So the Dallas Cowboys had a bunch of picks in this draft, especially in the 5th round. They had like 3 5th-round picks. And they took a lot of hit or miss, boom or bust players in this draft. A lot of guys who have the potential to be really good, but also could be huge busts. And they took some gambles on some players, which is things that you have to do in the draft. At this point, the draft is a lottery. It's a hit or miss type of thing. So sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. With the 1st round pick that the Cowboys had, they used the 24th overall pick on offensive tackle out of Tulsa, Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith is solid. I think Tyler Smith can be a really solid tackle for the Dallas Cowboys. He can be a day one starter for us if we move him to left guard. I think he's like 6'5". He's pretty tall. Fantastic run blocker. He's actually a better run blocker than some of the top tackles in the class like Ike Ekwonu and Evan Neal. So this guy knows how to block in the run game, open up those holes for Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. Now he is going to need to tune up his pass protection, and he's also a heavily penalized player, so the Cowboys need to get him to not do that in the NFL. The Cowboys had a lot of penalty problems last year, especially at the left guard position with Connor Williams, and they need Tyler Smith to do better. But if Tyler Smith can come in and be a day one starter and do well in the run game and continue to improve his pass protection and not take a lot of penalties, this could end up being a really good pick. He looks like a solid player, and he's got the potential to be a solid left guard in the NFL, and maybe one day a tackle if Tyron Smith retires soon. With our 2nd round pick, we selected Sam Williams, a linebacker out of Ole Miss, and I absolutely love this pick. Sam Williams can come in and fill the role that Randy Gregory left behind when he left for Denver, and I really like Sam Williams. He had 13 sacks last season, the 2nd most in the SEC, only behind Will Anderson, who's probably going to be a top 5 pick next year. This dude is good. He played against some of the best competition in college football, and he was dominant. He's got a lot of potential at the NFL level, and this is huge because the Cowboys can use him and his pass rushing ability on that side of the line. He can have DeMarcus Lawrence on one side, Sam Williams on the other, and then you can use Micah Parsons as more of a versatile defensive player, which is his best role. Parsons can play all over the field on defense. We know that. He is incredibly versatile. And yes, he's a fantastic pass rusher, but you also want to see him in coverage as a linebacker because he excels there as well. Getting Sam Williams makes Parsons have a lot more versatility and can do a lot more on defense, while Sam Williams can be our full-time pass rusher, and I really like this pick in the 2nd round. With our 3rd round pick, we selected wide receiver Jalen Tolbert out of South Alabama. Tolbert could be a really solid option for the Cowboys. Michael Gallup slated to miss the first couple of games of the season with his torn ACL. Tolbert can come in and be a solid option. He was great in college for South Alabama, which, yes, it's South Alabama, but still it's a good sign that Tolbert can be that type of player. He can play all different receiver positions. Tolbert, I think, can be really solid. He's fast, he's a vertical threat, and he's kind of like Michael Gallup in a way. Both players went to smaller schools, were drafted in the 3rd round, and Gallup has become a fantastic receiver in the NFL, and hopefully Tolbert can follow that path and be a solid deep threat for the Cowboys. With our 4th round pick, we used it on tight end Jake Ferguson. Ferguson can come in and be a solid backup tight end and can be a solid replacement if Dalton Schultz gets injured. Schultz is on the franchise tag, and if Ferguson has a good season and shows promise, maybe that'll let the Cowboys, the Cowboys will decide not to pay Schultz and let Ferguson take over the starting tight end job. He's got great hands for a tight end. He's a solid blocker. Ferguson can come in and be a solid tight end again. Don't put too much pressure on him immediately because you have Dalton Schultz. But if Ferguson can come in and be a solid tight end for the Cowboys, that'd be huge. They could run some 2 tight end sets with him and Schultz, and it'd make the Cowboys offense a lot better. With our first 5th round pick, we used it on offensive tackle Matt Waletzko. Waletzko's big. He's got some big arms, which is nice to see. And again, he is one of those guys the Cowboys drafted as a project player. A lot of the guys in this draft that we drafted are project players, and Matt Waletzko is certainly a project player. He's a guy who can be a solid swing tackle in the future, potentially, if he's developed properly. Again, you got to use his strengths. He's got some big arms, and he can make plays in the run game and things like that. I like Waletzko. I think he's a solid offensive tackle. He did really well at the Senior Bowl against really good college competition. If the Cowboys are able to find a role for him, maybe he can end up being a pretty solid NFL player. With our second 5th round pick, we used it on cornerback Duran Bland. Duran Bland is more of a depth thing. The Cowboys have a ton of cornerbacks on the roster, so he's definitely going to be a depth piece. He's a ball hawk kind of guy, kind of like a Trevon Diggs, obviously not as good. Duran Bland, though, he's going to have to try to make his way in the rotation. He'll probably end up being a special teams guy for now, but he could be a solid ball hawk for the Cowboys, and maybe he'll be able to carve himself a role in our secondary. Last 5th round pick, we used it on LSU linebacker Damon Clark. Now, Clark is a very intriguing pick, and he is the definition of a boomer bust pick. Clark, if you look at the accolades, he was a Buckus Award finalist, which is awarded to the nation's top linebacker in college football. He was a first-team All-SEC in 2021. So this guy is a fantastic linebacker, and you might be wondering, why is he not a 2nd-round pick or a 1st-round pick if he's getting these types of awards? It's because Clark is going to miss the entire rookie year due to a spinal surgery that he had. Obviously, anything to do with the spine is a major red flag in the NFL, and it's when you're expected to miss your rookie year, that's huge. So Clark is missing out on some important development, but the Cowboys have shown in the past that they are not afraid to take risks on players. Look at Jalen Smith, a guy who really panned out for the Cowboys for a couple years. He had a big injury in college, slipped into the later rounds. The Cowboys were able to pick him up, and he became a Pro Bowl linebacker for them. So maybe Damon Clark will be like Jalen Smith. He'll come back from his injury strong, and he'll be one of the major steals of this draft, and I hope he will, because he showed a lot of potential in college, and hopefully this spinal injury does not stop him in the NFL. And with their last 5th round pick, they used it on John Ridgeway, defensive tackle out of Arkansas. Another guy with solid arms, good frame. He can make some plays as a pass rusher. He's a big guy inside. He can make some plays for the Cowboys and be a solid run stopper. They got Osa Adigiwusa last draft, and maybe John Ridgeway can carve a role for himself as a solid interior presence for the Cowboys here in these next couple seasons. I like Ridgeway. I think he can be a solid DT in the league if he's developed and has time to develop. And with our last pick of the draft, in the 6th round, we used it on Oklahoma State linebacker Devin Harper. This guy's probably going to be a special teamer for us, but he was okay in college. He was a pretty solid player, and I think that he can be a really solid special teams player if he just goes out, plays well. He can probably carve himself a solid role on special teams. That's going to do it for this draft recap, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new so you'll not miss more sports content like this. Comment down below, what do you think about the Dallas Cowboys draft? Again, a lot of boomer bust players who have a lot of potential but also have a very low floor. So we'll see how it works out, and hopefully in a couple years we'll be looking at this as Cowboys fans and seeing that a lot of these guys panned out and are major contributors to our team. Have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.